Good morning. It's 10 to 12 on Sunday, the 7th of July, 2024. This is D&J Drives on Rapsey Street, Trinidad. We're taking you on a drive following on from our previous video of Federation Park. Rapsey Street begins where Jamaica Boulevard ends, and we are driving up Rapsey Street. This right turn takes you into Wainwright Street, into St. Clair, but we're going up Rapsey Street, passing the Islamic Academy on the right. To hit the tail end or the beginning of Saddle Road. Saddle Road goes all the way from here all into Maraval and takes you even to Maracas, Santa Cruz, all the way into the east, into South, brings you out into the Sour Junction, or as some would say, San Juan. This is the Queen's Park Savannah, the famous Queen's Park Savannah. The longest roundabout in the world. There are the botanical gardens on the left, the President's House. This is the entrance for the office of the President. This is the President's House on the left, which unfortunately you can't see. Very impressive building. The Trinidad Hilton behind all of those trees. This is Queen's Hall on the left, a sort of a concert hall. Along St. Anne's Road. On the left here is the entrance to the residence of the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And of course you can't see all of that, but at least you can gather an idea of the road network. St. Anne's is also the location of the mental hospital. So if people think that you've lost your mind, you're going crazy, they will say you need to go up St. Anne's, because they call it the St. Anne's Hospital, but of course there's an official name for it. Psychiatric hospital. So we turn off St. Anne's Road and we enter Cascade Road. And here's a doubles vendor on the right. You could always find doubles in Trinidad, authentic doubles, the home of doubles. That's an Anglican church on the left that we just passed. It's called Christ Church. So as you can see, St. Anne's and Cascade are neighbors. This is the river there on the left, and we turn off Cascade Road. Look at this building ahead of you, Coblentz Inn. That used to be a nursing home or hospital. This is Coblentz Avenue, which takes you out of Cascade, and that Coblentz Inn used to be called Nichols Nursing Home. In Trinidad, they refer to nursing homes as they refer to private, smaller hospitals as nursing homes. Well, back in the day, now they would be called something else, so-and-so medical facility or even so-and-so hospital. But those nursing homes, like Nichols Nursing Home, were used for private surgeries, births, so many mothers would go there as opposed to having their children at the Port of Spain General Hospital. You're seeing some hotels here. This is the Bricks, a real nice hotel. Wasser booster there, Water and Sewerage Authority, and we can just turn quickly here and give you a sneak peek of the entrance to the Prime Minister's residence. That's a real bad drive we just did, but it's all for you. So Nichols Nursing Home, many people were born there, 1970s and 80s, and it's a place of significance because it's now an inn, and that roundabout ahead of you, that's a sculpture of the mighty sparrow. And Nichols Nursing Home, back to that point, was closed down and then transformed to that inn. So, you know, just a bit of history on that building. So we are back onto Queen's Park, Savannah. This is Queen's Park East. Stay on that's the home of the former Jamaat al-Muslimin leader that we just passed on the left. This building here is the new Ministry of Health on the left, which leads on to Charlotte Street, and that goes all the way down to Independence Square. But this is still the Savannah. That's the NAPA, National Academy for the Performing Arts, on the left. NAPA. So as we make our way around the longest roundabout in the world, Queen's Park, Savannah, we just take our time to stay on the middle lane so that the camera can hopefully pick up what's on both sides. It's 3 miles long. This is the famous gingerbread house there on the left. All Saints Anglican Church on the left. The United States Embassy on the left. Sagicor condos. But the interesting thing about the United States Embassy is that it's being relocated soon. The United States government bought the what was the Trinidad and Tobago Country Club, and they're going to build a state-of-the-art facility there. So the United States Embassy will be moving to the corner of Saddle Road and Long Circular Road, just opposite the KFC, opposite Kent House. Here we see Queen's Royal College, QRC, on the left. One of the top schools of Trinidad and Tobago. But it's peculiar again because in Trinidad you have the top schools in the north, central, east, and even Tobago. That's the Prime Minister's office on the left, Whitehall, followed by Stallmeyer's Castle, and before Whitehall was the Archbishop's residence. You can see this roundabout ahead there has an opening that's to take you up to Lady Chancellor. Right in front of you is the home of Brian Charles Lara, overlooking Port of Spain, and indeed he is known as the Prince of Port of Spain, and that land was gifted to him by the government of Trinidad and Tobago in recognition of his accomplishments when he broke all of the world records. In cricket, he's one of the most successful and noteworthy cricketers in the world and of all time. His lovely home overlooks Port of Spain. Again to the left, President's House. This time we won't go on to Cascade Road, but we will take you on a drive up to Lady Young Road. That's the Mighty Sparrow again ahead of you there in that statue. And we begin our trek up Lady Young Road. So we are ascending. This can be a bit tricky at times. There's a little turn off here if you need to stop for any reason. It's a winding road. And we just turn off here to show you the Trinidad Hilton. So the Trinidad Hilton is sometimes known as the Upside Down Hotel because the reception area is at the top with all these various stores and shopping to the left. That's the end, the reception area there, check-in. But then the rooms are below. So while most hotels you enter from the ground floor and go up, this one you enter from the top and go down. So colloquially known as the Upside Down Hotel. If you look right ahead, you will see the Mova area, those homes up there. Similar characterization as Laventille. In fact, there's a part of Mova that is called Mova Laventille. The two areas intersect on either side of one landmass. We continue ascending Lady Young Road. Peculiar land formation on the left is known as schist. This point here can be quite dangerous if cars lose control while coming down. That's why that chain is there. Now if you look over to the left, at this point you can see Cascade. Cascade is that area that we just passed by Nichols Nursing Home, now Coblentz Inn. We're on Cascade Road. We turned off onto Coblentz Avenue. Look at the beautiful scenery on the left. All of those mountains. As tall as these mountains are, they can't begin to rival some of the mountains, some of the other Caribbean islands, such as Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent. And we are still ascending. This is Lady Young Road in Trinidad. A very important road that connects Barataria in the east to Port of Spain via the Queen's Park Savannah. So it's somewhat of a shortcut. Check to see how long this road is, but as opposed to driving through town, if you came to the eastern main road and you got to Barataria, turn off by the junction there, there's a gas station, and you hit the bottom of Lady Young Road and continue. This is the Lady Young Lookout, the Lady Young Road Lookout. There are many vendors here who sell food and fruit. various food stalls. It's a Sunday midday, so they have not all come out as yet, but this is a good area for significant nightlife. And you can see the homes of Morvant. And if we come right to the end, it gives you a panoramic view of Port of Spain and its environs. If you look closely, you can see the 5 islands out there. Chaguaramas and central Port of Spain. This is a lookout. People come up here to take pictures, just to relax, to have a meal in their vehicles while they look out. So the buildings of Port of Spain and beyond Port of Spain, even into south, are quite impressive. I believe the tallest building in the Caribbean is in Port of Spain, Trinidad, and that's indicative of its wealth, the largest economy in the Caribbean, and that's because the economy is based on oil and gas. So it's not necessarily a tourist-oriented area, but the production of oil and gas, and that allowed for 2 or 3 oil booms. Every time there's a world crisis and the price of oil increases, it's bad for some, but good for others. So we've reached the peak at the lookout, and we begin our descent into Morvant. That limousine that just passed is such an unusual thing compared to other islands that are based on tourism, where there are many limousines, a dime a dozen, taking guests from hotels to airports. You don't tend to see that in Trinidad. So in the 1970s there was big oil boom. In the 2010s, for sustained periods, and unfortunately through mismanagement, Trinidad and Tobago is not further, such as other oil-rich nations. But it's still sweet TNT, and as former British, Spanish and other colonial ties, as a colony, it has still done well for its own. It's still done well for itself, I should say, on its own. Nice, quiet, cool drive on a Sunday. Supposedly most people must be having lunch at this time, so we have a bit of an easy ride, an escape from the otherwise wild driving that is synonymous with Trinidad and to some extent Tobago. In fact, this piece of road here reminds me of the main highway in Tobago. car dealership on the left. Notice the little hills on the right, how people's homes are accessed by very, very steep driveways. Some concrete, some paved, some unpaved. And this area is known for landslides during rainstorms. The entrance there to the left takes you into the heart of Morvant. So these are the areas that you hear about in the news. A lot of negativity, crimes in Morvant and Laventille. This is where we are now. Unless you see something different from what I'm seeing, it's otherwise very quiet and peaceful. This road that is going from left to right on your screen, that's the Eastern Main Road. We can turn right if we went into the right lane to get back into the heart of Port of Spain, and it feeds you into the Independence Square by the Catholic Cathedral. We are going a different route. So this area here that we are being connected to is called Barataria. These vehicles on the right, they are making their way over the Lady Young Road. So going east, going left takes you further east, going right takes you into Port of Spain, and if you went left all the way up Barataria, you can get back to the airport. We are about to cross the priority bus route. This is a road that is designated buses only. Buses and maxi taxis use that road. So it takes all of those buses and taxis and all of those things off the road where everyone else uses, and you can commute faster. Of course, some people try to use those roads illegally and get into trouble. On the left, that would take us to the highway, and this flyover will take us back down. Of course, the priority bus route is also used by dignitaries. For example, the Prime Minister and other ministers by police escort can be taken across the priority bus route to get to certain places faster. There's a lot of traffic in Trinidad, horrible traffic. So the priority bus route, PBR, is used by them as well. So this flyover ahead of you, that's what we just came over. And we join the Churchill Roosevelt Highway. Ahead of you, the hills of Laventille, Morvant and Laventille. And if you look at our first Trinidad and Tobago video, this piece of the drive should be familiar to you. house on the left. Making our way into Port of Spain. On another video we went right down the Churchill Roosevelt Highway. This time we will enter Port of Spain via a flyover just off the Beetham Highway. So the Churchill Roosevelt Highway turns into the Beetham Highway just around where the La Basse is located, and we just take this. You can see Port of Spain to the left. Take this flyover to the left of us, crossing the Beetham Highway. So remember, the Churchill Roosevelt Highway leads into the Beetham Highway, and ahead of you is the heart of Laventille. This is sort of the back of Port of Spain, very sort of depressed area. This road links us to Independence Square. You can see a sort of a homeless shelter on the left. And this is the back of the Catholic Cathedral there, and we just turned right on Columbus Square. Columbus is still has his place. You're looking up Duncan Street. All of this is the back of Port of Spain, where people usually try to avoid. It's not a place to frequent willy-nilly, especially at night. Like any other country, there are places that you go and places that you shouldn't. This is a place that is relatively safe most of the time, but you can have some, this is the cathedral on the right, you can have some opportunists who are up to no good. So we just passed the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception, the Catholic Cathedral. We are in the heart of Port of Spain, Independence Square, also known as the Brian Lara Promenade. I'm not sure if the Brian Lara Promenade goes right across Eastern Main Road or just on the right here by what is called the Promenade. developed area for playing chess and sitting and relaxing in a more or less green space. All to the right. And we just turn left, taking you deeper into Port of Spain. Ahead of you is the lighthouse. That's a big landmark in Trinidad. And an old train station in front of you, which is now a hub for maxi taxis, almost like a train station in modern times. You can hop onto these maxis to take you to various places into East Trinidad. Just turned on to South Quay. And we'll turn right back off onto Charlotte Street. Charlotte Street is a very, very busy street in Port of Spain. If you look ahead of us, on the other side, you can't drive up Charlotte Street. You can drive up Charlotte Street at this end and then turn left onto the promenade. But if you look at the end of Charlotte Street on the other side of the road here, that is a sign saying Chinatown. Charlotte Street is a long street which runs alongside Frederick Street and Henry Street and all of those other downward streets, and that's a street where you can do lots of shopping for vegetables and clothes and all manner of things. You can spend a day walking through there to buy various items, and it's called Chinatown. We just turned on to Henry Street, and this crosses the Brian Lara Promenade. We're making our way up Henry Street. This goes all the way, takes you all the way to the top by the Savannah, the Queen's Park Savannah. This is Janelle Commission Road. First Black Miss Universe in the world, Janelle Penny Commission. I believe she won Miss Universe in maybe 1976. I'm not certain. That road is named for her. It was previously called Queen Street. So Trinidad has all these streets: Prince Street, Queen Street, and Queen Street was renamed for Queen Penny Commission. Turn right here by the Rosary Roman Catholic Church, which is in the heart of Port of Spain. Turn right onto Park Street. And then then turn back down to Charlotte Street, entrance of Chinatown. You can't see the pillar too well there, but you saw the pillar on the other side, the other end of it. This is Charlotte Street. You can see all the vendors selling their vegetables and fruit, and some of the stores are also open selling clothes and various items. This is Chinatown, Charlotte Street, Port of Spain, Trinidad. So we won't go right down. You can see all the Chinese emblems at the top. It just repeats and gets deeper and deeper with more and more vendors and bananas and pineapples and whatever. You just turn on to Duke Street. You can see the vendors continue down there. It's hard to drive through there because you have to navigate many pedestrians. This is Duke Street. And we make our way back up Henry Street. Some big holes in the road. Police vehicle crossing Park Street again, continuing up Henry Street, Holy Rosary Church on the right, and this is a place of interest. Let's just pull aside to get a good view of it. This is the Caribbean Court of Justice on the right, CCJ. This is the region's highest court of appeal in the region. Let's just turn. It's a Sunday, the roads are clear. That's it. The CCJ. This is where these critical decisions are made, and not all Caribbean countries currently subscribe to the CCJ. Some still go to the Privy Council in England, such as Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago does use the court, but it's not the highest court of appeal for the jurisdiction. Countries like Barbados, it is. But it's headquartered in Trinidad, ironically. We turn left at Gordon Street. See the Port of Spain prison on the left. And you see how high up Frederick Street. All of these streets begin from the Queen's Park Savannah side and come all the way down. We're going across Gordon Street. And that's NAPA in front of you. We hit Pembroke Street here. National Academy for the Performing Arts. This is the museum on the left, which is under renovation. Memorial Square. This is the front of NAPA, a large auditorium. The Ministry of Health building across there. Queen's Park Savannah over there. And that's NAPA for the most part. Of course, this drive can't do it justice. It's a very elegant structure. We rejoin the Queen's Park Savannah. Getting a glimpse still of NAPA on the left. So we turn off the Queen's Park Savannah and on the left. I'm not sure if we've covered the entire Savannah from right. Yes, we covered all of it. So we turn off onto Cipriani Boulevard. Heading back into downtown Port of Spain, but just pulling off here quickly just to show you the headquarters of the PNM, the People's National Movement, which happens to be the party in government at the moment. This is it on the right. So we will just turn up Victoria Avenue and turn around. A view of downtown Port of Spain, and this is the headquarters of the PNM, Balisier House. That's where the current Prime Minister Keith Rowley is the political leader of that party, of which those are the headquarters. McDonald's ahead of us. No line at the moment, but usually it's a very long line there for the drive-through. So we are going to connect some dots shortly. There's another doubles vendor on the left. Ahead of you is the La Perouse Cemetery, and you can See the Hyatt to the left, and this is where the dots should start to connect for anyone who's following these Trinidad and Tobago videos. Right, so we leave Cipriani Boulevard and we enter Colville Street. The wall all along to our left is the La Perouse Cemetery. Ahead of you there's some sort of ship in the Port of Spain port. In the Port of Spain. So right ahead, if you look right down where those cars are coming up, and you can see movement, that's Ricent Road, which we've covered before. And we are waiting to turn left onto Aripita Avenue. So that should connect some dots for those who followed the other video. And we still have to do a video of Aripita Avenue itself. But we're going to connect this dot right now. So here we will connect two dots. We drove here before, but we turned right and we brought you through Stone Street and connected you to Abercrombie Street. This time we're going straight down to the end of Aripita Avenue, or as some say, the avenue, and we enter Park Street. This is where Park Street begins, and this should connect the dots for you because this Park Street goes all the way down to the end by Charlotte Street where we just drove. And the lights are always blinking and you have to take a chance and proceed with caution. We go right across Park Street. And it's nice and empty today in town, no traffic jam, no hostile driving. And we turn off Park Street onto St. Vincent Street. And you should remember that bridge ahead of you when we showed you the Red House. Country's Parliament. But before we get there, we have to take this red light onto drive past Duke Street. And the red light changed and I didn't realize. So this is the bridge that connects government's offices on the right to the Parliament. And I mentioned the street being closed. As you can see, there's a gate, but what we'll capture here is the pedestrian gate as well. So you can only basically walk through there. This is the point at which the Jamaat al-Muslimin stormed the Parliament. Right, let me turn through there. If you can see, oops, there's a little balcony. So just below there is where they stormed. And if you go on YouTube and search for that event, the storming of the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, July 27th, 1990, you will hear that a member of Parliament was speaking, and while he spoke, you started to hear gunshots on the TV, gunshots, and he spoke and he looked around and he was speaking, and then he started to move funny like something was happening, and then he dropped down to the ground, and that was captured live on TV. That is where that event started. This bridge here was built in later times to connect the office, but we drove here before and we turned left onto Hart Street, I think that's Hart Street. Am I correct? Yes. But we're not passing Hart Street today. We're just gonna go right back down to the end, to Independence Square. We cross Queen Janelle Commission Street. In Barbados, that name is pronounced Commission. And here we see the second of the twin towers. That is the one of the two. There are the two. Eric Williams Financial Complex. So we could turn left to go all the way along Independence Square, or we can go right across, which we will do, and come back in. So we're driving over the promenade. You can see two water taxis ahead of you there. Or the ferry, those look too big to be the water. Those are the ferries, Tobago Ferry. That's the Port of Spain ferry terminal there. Turn left back onto South Quay. So we drove there a short while ago. PTSC, Public Transport Service Corporation, PTSC. In Barbados, they would call that the Transport Board. Trinidad is the PTSC. And we get another view of the roundabout there, the Cipriani statue. So you all should remember seeing us come down that street, Frederick Street. This is the other angle now. So if we had turned right instead of going straight just now, we would come down to where we are now. This is the Cipriani statue back on Independence Square. This is the bottom of Henry Street. We joined Henry Street higher up earlier in this video, and we have arrived at the bottom of Charlotte Street, Chinatown. So these vehicles are exiting Charlotte Street, and unfortunately we can't pick up all the vendors, but look, some on the right. It's just endless shopping. And if we went straight here, we reconnect to where we were earlier when I spoke of it being a sort of a depressed area. This is the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception, Catholic Cathedral. It's one of the oldest buildings. It's dated 1850, and that's a view of it. So we end this drive on Sunday the 7th of July 2024 at exactly 1 p.m. and thank you for your attention. Thanks for your support. Thanks for all the feedback that we receive, and thanks for growing our subscriber base. Please remember to share this video with your friends and family, and if you like it, react it. It will help our channel to grow. Thank you.